Thank you, Matt, for hosting us tonight. It's wonderful to come down and be able to read at the Friendswood Library. So thank you. And thank all of you for being here tonight as well. All that's left is a burnished seed, shaped like a kidney, hides embryo, smooth as wax, powerful as cinnabar, precious, hidden here in this pile of leaves. The color of a fresh deep scratch, a pebble of polished coral lost from a child's rock tumbler, a hint of jellied brawn, a trace of hide hidden here in this pile of leaves that smell like crumpled sacks and potato peels that I poke with this stick. From a distance at twilight, you might mistake me for a large, flightless bird probing around for bugs, but I'm listening to this seed here on the concrete, quiet as a piece of polished coral, now muffled in my pocket, safe as a tender newborn, asleep in a fur pouch, waiting for milk and sunlight. Hide rolls through the night like the eye of Jupiter while I pick through this pile of leaves. I have no children. I've made money. And hide is now a charm I dare not lose. Smooth as a tooth, sweet with grenadine, stained with madder root, dark as a phantom twin, pressed in the vice of finger and thumb. This next, thank you. This next poem was from an ekphrastic project. There was a photographer who took a series of photographs all the way down the mountains, stretching from Alaska down to Mexico. And this was part of that project that I was lucky enough to be part of. It's also in the program as well. Every photograph, a message home. We sit here on the edge of your field, clumps of crusty lichen, orange as a fox pelt tacked to the barn door, sedentary as oysters covered in rust, composites of algae and fungus clinging with rhizine hooks to acid-softened stone. Do you think of us today? Or are we now no more than acquaintances who've settled into a space smaller than your wallet? Do you know I woke early and watched you slip away across the pasture, carry off my heart in the knapsack that held a camera, journal, old photos? I've spent years listening to brittle darkness, longed for lightning white as bone to reveal your silhouette. Have you spawned other clusters that mark the path of your travels, left a trail of tiny orange suns across a slate-gray sky? Now you send me this photo from the Chugach Mountains and the tiny pebble that gleams in the morning rain like a child's hand littered with minnow scales. Don't come home. Stay lost. I've homeschooled our son and daughter, and we've built up a blanket of glass at the wall of the shooting range. My heart is hard as bull cords. Nothing settles there. Nothing pushes through. Not even your letters, bright as winter crocus. There's a, if you ever make it over to Taos, New Mexico, there's a great old house that you can stay in, a type of an inn. It's called the Mabel Dodge Lohan House. And Mabel was quite the woman out in Taos, and she had a real fascination for D.H. Lawrence, the writer. And she was convinced that she could conjure him out just by thinking about drawing him out to Taos, New Mexico. And he eventually made it out there. This is about her house, her, and D.H. I could only dream of the thin man. So I took my housekeeper and my axe to the forest and sacrificed 4 oak trees, paid strong men to lug them up my steep back stairs and carve this banister bed. Mornings I rubbed tongue oil in corded grooves so deep a woman could get lost for the rest of her days. 10 years later he arrived, hazel-eyed lunger, a year left on his heart. He woke early, painted my bathroom windows, a bone-white peacock, hidden in mountains, blue jaguar sun. Each night his thin silhouette, riding, rocking me. 2, no 3, hands pressed against the panes. in this last poem. I think in the back, someone was asking us which birds we were going to be tonight. Wasn't there a question about birds? What was your bird, Dom?
Yes.
Wounded sparrow. Good.
And you have a whistling duck, too.
And a whistling duck?
Yeah.
My bird is kind of in this poem, but not really. I've spent all day trying to erase the image of a chicken from this soup. I just wanted tofu skin soup, seasoned like chicken soup. But this bean curd is pressed into the shape of a chicken. It even has a slit where her cavity might be, stuffed with mushroom giblets, gristly and red-brown, like gizzards would be. I left them in the soup, coarsely diced, like one would prepare the heart of a bird if this were chicken soup. Inside the cavity, on the sidewall, I found a cup-shaped depression like the palm of a catcher's mitt, or that place where the rounded end of a hip bone presses against flesh. A seed or a nut of some sort. I didn't have time to look it up before you arrived. It looked like the rounded end of a leg bone, and I cleaved it in two. It might have been a lotus seed, but it made me think of splitting a tiny moon. Only two of you, maybe one of you, will be lucky enough to eat. Tofu skin takes a lot of work. I've made it from scratch, not this time, but before. You warm the soy milk in a wide pan and wait until a skin forms, and you peel it away with chopsticks and lift it into place atop the others you've spent all morning harvesting. You can season them like bacon or leave them plain and add them to soup. There's no need to press them into the shape of a chicken. I've chopped it up to hide the appearance of a chicken. I didn't want to think about chickens when I cooked today. Just peaceful soup. I added some words, actually letters, made of pasta. They might be overcooked a bit and just squiggles by now. Feet, arms, legs of letters, pieces of words. Chicken. Murder. There were swastikas on the wrapper, the good luck kind. But it's hard to push through the thoughts that appear with a swastika. That can take over your poem. Best to put that wrapper in the trash. Swastika. On a form-fitting sheet that holds something that looks like a dead chicken, but it's only skins of tofu and some black ears of mushrooms and the tiny moon I've placed in the soup for luck. Thank you.